There are beautiful, winding canals and plenty of famous buildings in Amsterdam, one of Europe's most freewheeling capitals with its laid back vibe and reputation for sinful tolerance. In addition to visiting the city's famous museums, people come to walk across many of its bridges or get lost in its maze of streets. The Dutch capital is renowned for its relaxed, permissive, tolerant, liberal approach to things like sex and drugs. So it might seem like there are no rules here, but like anywhere, there are some things to remember. So here are things not to do in Amsterdam. Don't wander on the bike path. Don't walk on the bike path. As with the middle of the road, don't walk where the cyclists are. Amsterdam's bike paths are always busy and bikes fly by very quickly. Bicycling is a very popular mode of transportation in the Netherlands, with 4 times more bikes than cars. Bicycle paths are extremely busy because Dutch riders enjoy riding bikes. You don't want to spend your holiday laid up with a broken arm or a backache if you're walking along the bike path because bikers might try to get around you and clip you with their handlebars. Or worse. Whenever you cross a bike path, always look both ways. You'll recognize bike paths by their red color or bike symbol. It's best to avoid the bike paths. It's even more hazardous to be in a collision with small cars or Vespas on these paths. Don't cycle at night without lights. Don't forget to light up at night if you choose to cycle in Amsterdam. This is a dangerous and punishable rule that you'll see locals breaking all the time. If caught, you'll need to buy a light from the police and pay a fine. If you ride your bike after dark, you're legally required to use front and back lights. In addition, it makes sense to see where you're going as well as to have others see you, too. Be sure to buy a decent bike light and secure it to your two-wheeler, and be sure to turn it on once the sun is set. Don't try to speak Dutch. It's a nice idea to try your best to speak the native language of a country, but the Dutch aren't so keen on it. Dutch is a hard language, and speaking it to locals will just make them annoyed. It's estimated that 90% of the Dutch people speak English fluently, so if you start a conversation or ask a question in Dutch, they will usually reply in English. In reality, they don't mind the effort. They're just very direct people who know that having a conversation in English is the most convenient way to engage tourists. Don't take pictures at the red light district workers. A network of alleys in Amsterdam red light district contains over 300 one-room suites that sex workers rent for an hour. The sex workers offer their services to customers in these rooms. Historically, the red light district has a large port where sailors would dock, so they would advertise themselves behind glass windows or doors illuminated with red lights, and slowly became a hub for sex workers catering to sailors on leave. The working women are often mistaken for sideshows by tourists. They whip out their phones and take pictures as they pass. Sex workers are known to throw pee in tourists' faces if tourists take photos, and this is illegal in the area. These women aren't tourist attractions. They just want to earn a living. The girls in the windows make such a mockery of their lifestyle that you miss out on the treasure hidden behind the lights if you come and just gawk. Don't be crazy with drugs. There are many tourists who have experienced the negative side effects of drugs during their trip to Amsterdam. The potency of Dutch marijuana is also worth noting. It is a lot stronger than what you might be accustomed to. There's been an increase in the number of people suffering from psychosis after using marijuana, according to police, emergency services, and medical professionals. Neither you nor your fellow smokers will be impressed with the number of size of joints you're able to smoke at one time, or the amount of beer you believe you'll be able to consume. Do not consume for others' pleasure. And speaking of drinking, you might also want to remember, don't drink and smoke in public. Public drinking is illegal in Amsterdam, but if you carry open bottles, drink, and get drunk, cause a scene in public, you're essentially asking for a free night at the police station. The police may be less strict during festivals and weekends, as well as in Vondelpark and De Wallen. In addition to being forbidden from smoking in coffee shops, you're also advised against smoking outside of the secure and privacy of the 4 walls. At best, a patrolling police officer will remind you of the rules. At worst, you'll be fined. In addition to being disrespectful and dangerous, going about the city while intoxicated is a great deal of risk, especially where in the city and a bicycle may hit you. Oh, and before we continue, to feel your curiosity, please don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to this channel for more videos about this. And now let's get back to it. Don't rent a car. No need to rent a car in Amsterdam unless you plan to leave. It has a great transit system and is very pedestrian friendly. It has trams, a metro, and a free ferry for getting around. It takes about 20 minutes to ride a bike anywhere in the city. In Amsterdam, parking is very scarce and driving is extremely stressful because of trams, pedestrians, and bikes. Only rent it for the day or days you need it if you plan on leaving Amsterdam for a day trip. Don't think a coffee shop is a cafe. There are many coffee shops in Amsterdam that aren't really coffee shops. Well, there are some that sell coffee and other beverages, But for the most part, they're places that specialize in marijuana culture. Like speakeasies, a name has a similar history. The first coffee shop was located on the site of an old bakery that also served coffee. The rest of the goods were sold in secret. There'll be no more police raids or secrecy, but the name coffee shop remains for a long time to come. Don't eat the free cookies. It's almost like a friendly gesture when a pretty Dutch girl, a young boy, and an elderly woman will walk up to you with a plate full of homemade cookies. It's a welcome gesture. Having eaten the cookies, you quickly start feeling sleepy, so you're grateful to the cookie vendor who can help you to find a quiet side street. It isn't long until you realize that your valuables are missing when you wake up in the cold, hard street. Bars, coffee shops, discos, and other places where people have a tendency to offer you drinks sometimes have similar scenarios. Don't walk into dark alleys. As long as you stay aware that people are watching you and that they are waiting for you to make a foolish decision, such as entering an area where you're likely to be robbed, you can count on the fact that they're watching you. Same applies to looking lost when a friend offers you a map in order to show you where you want to go. This can be a common trick to get you to go where the person wants to. And you might not want to go where they want you to. Don't visit Anne Frank's house. Anne Frank's house, where she and her family hid for 2 years during World War II, is of course one of the must-see sights of Amsterdam. During the summer, especially during the high season, the lineup can be epic at the museum as a result of the popularity of her famous diary. It's great to be able to discover things spontaneously and without being tied to a set schedule. But here's one attraction you should plan ahead for, or else you can waste 2 to 4 hours waiting in line, and perhaps not get in at all. In order to get direct entrance at a door beside the main entrance, pre-book your timed ticket online as soon as possible. Only a limited number of tickets are available each day, so reserve early. Don't use the trams without a ticket. Seems that Amsterdam's electronic ticket system, which was intended to be cheaper than the old one, yet even though it's not cheaper, still seems to be more expensive than before, has greatly decreased fare dodging, but a few shifty characters can still get away with it. It is a criminal offense to do so, and if you are caught, you'll pay a fine of €70, plus a €15 procedure fee on the spot. In advance, you should buy your OV chip card from a tobacco store, a supermarket, or the GVB ticket office at Central Station, or from one of those tobacco stores. It's much more expensive to buy a ticket on the tram or bus. You can get it from either the conductor or the driver. There are not always conductors on trams, but there are ticket machines in that case as well. With these in mind, you can enjoy your marvelous journey here. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.